Hi everyone, it's Nicole, and I have another layout using the Spencer's kit. And I had a few add-ons, 2 add-ons and a Project Life. And I am down to my scraps, and that arrow from Tim and Beckett, I think it's actually the second or third sheet that I'm pulling out. For some reason I had 5 sheets of it. And so these are pictures of New York, and a lot of the pictures of New York City is either taken from the Empire State Building, top of the rock. So it's all up high. So I have quite a few pictures that we had taken at Street View. So while we were walking, so I just picked 3 of them. And again, I'm going through my scraps, and this is a basic gray pattern paper. And I'm just using my, I think it's called dotted embossed scallop. But if you don't push hard, it doesn't make the embossed part, it just makes a scallop. And that's the only punch that I've seen that makes such a big scallops. Like all the other punches I've seen makes tiny scallops. So I really like that punch. It took me a long time to buy it because I thought it made the embossed dots, but it doesn't. So I really like it. Now I'm going to cut a piece of that triangle black and cream paper to kind of separate the orange from the photos. And now this is another scrap, and I'm going to put it at the top and at the bottom of the layout. And I cut it in 2 so that it looked like it was a long piece of paper going in behind the photos, but it's not. It's just a little bit at the top and a little bit at the bottom. And the top part is where, a cluster is going to live, and the bottom part is where my journaling is going to live. And I think now I'm just going through some stuff, trying to figure out what else I could put, or maybe I walked away. I don't know. I can't seem to see if I see any shadows in the background that I'm doing something. I must have walked away. I'll do that. I'll walk away for a few minutes and not stop the recording. So this is layout. I know in the last video I said it was layout 17, but it wasn't. It was layout 16. This is layout 17 out of 50. This layout took me 1 hour and 8 minutes, and I had said that for the other layout. What I do is I have a little book that I put everything in, and I just read the wrong line last time. So this is layout 17 of 50. It took me 1 hour and 8 minutes, and it is layout 13 for the Spencer's kit, the 13th layout. That's what I was doing. I was looking for a journaling paper to put right there on the bottom. So I just went into my stash and found one of those 6x6 pad books and found something in there that I could use. And I just cut it to fit and just set it for now on top of the paper. Now I'm going through my die cuts, and I decide to use one of those orange, yellow speech bubbles. So basically the page is going to be yellow and orange. And now I had kind of set aside that Amy Tangerine book last month to go with this, to go with my stuff. So I still have it sitting there. So I'm looking to see if there's anything else that I could use. And I really like that I did that. I ended up using quite a bit of my own stash with the kit. That book is, I'd say, almost half gone, so that's good. I was thinking about using those orange stickers, but the white was really white, and it was too much. As far as the ones that are on the page right now, I know on the camera they look really white, but in person they are a little bit less white than the other sticker that I had. so it fits a little better. So I decided on one of those stickers from the Dear Lizzie collection, and I'm taking my EK Success powder tool, and that's exactly what it's called, EK Success powder tool. So if you search for that, you'll be able to find it. And it's just a little flag. And now I'm still looking through stuff, trying to figure out what I'm going to use. And now I'm going to look in the Dear Lizzie Yes Please collection, I think. Yes Please. Lucky Charm. That's what it is. Lucky Charm collection. And I'm not going to find anything that I liked anyway. And now I'm looking at some digital prints that belong with a kit probably a long time ago or an upcoming kit. That's why they're not cut out. And I found this tab and it says check this out, so I'm going to be using that. And then I go through my buttons, and there's some yellow buttons. And I thought I was going to use this brad, but then I decided on something else. And I'm still looking through the stuff. It was actually, quite a bit of fun to come home and get back into it. But a week leaving this stuff, because I find once you start scrapbooking with a set of material, whether it's from your stash or not, like if you set aside a set of material and you start using it, it's almost like your brain is so used to seeing it that things just kind of go together real easy. But I took like 8 days off, and when I came back, it was like all new stuff, and it's like I couldn't remember anything, and it took me a little bit longer to go through the stuff, and I think too, part of it is I'm getting kind of anxious to move on to the next kit. I just want to move on to the May kit. July's kit is going to come in tomorrow. So, and I'm still on April's kit, so I'd like to move on to the next kit and try to catch up that way. So I'm just going through all the die cuts, and man, did we ever get a lot this month. So this is good. I'll be keeping those out for the next kit too, because there's no way I'm going to be able to get through all of that. This is layout 13, and there's still a ton of it. So I took that doily and I cut it in half, and that was one that was in the Amy Tangerine Yes Please collection, and I'd taken out for last layout but didn't end up using it, so it was in my die cuts so that I would always see it and want to use it. So I cut that in half, put the top part at one part at the top of the page and the other part at the bottom, and now I'm starting to feel good with how it's looking, so I'm going to start gluing everything down. So I'm going to start with the photos, and now I'm going to work at the bottom of the page. And I want that journaling spot to fit okay, so I'm going to lift the photos and kind of stick it underneath. And now I'm going to use my quick dry adhesive for these strips. And the black and cream little piece of paper, basically it's like a faux ribbon. I just cut it. It's maybe a 1/4 inch. And I just kind of put it at the top and the bottom of the page. And now I'm trying to, because I want it to look like one giant piece of paper, I'm trying to make it so that it is equal with the bottom of the page, so it looks like one piece of paper. So I'm using my ruler for that. And I'm going to keep gluing everything down. And I'm just trying to put glue at the bottom of the strip for the orange strip, because now I want to start, putting stuff in behind. So it can't be glued down solid. So I'm just trying to rearrange those die cuts the way I wanted them. And I had punched out a circle too for a few layouts ago, and it was from the yellow paper, and it has already circle on them. So I cut it in half, and I'm going to use it at the top and the bottom of the layout. Again, because it was there and it coordinated, and I might as well use it. Now I'm going to start working on the bottom cluster, and I'm going to glue down that doily and the tab and that this half circle. And then I had taken one of those, they almost look like, well, they're called fabric stickers, and I cut it in two, and I put one half at the top of the layout and the other half at the bottom of the layout. And now I'm going to, make a small little cluster at the bottom left so that it is a diagonal look on the page. And so I also took out a button for that little cluster too. And I had one of those little arrows left from a few pages ago too, and that was from the Amy Tangerine Yes Please collection. And I'm going to put some glue dots in behind the buttons to keep them stabilized until I sew them in place. And there you go. And I had no thread on my needle, and you just saw the crochet ball. I mean, it's huge. And I find too is the thing that it's not just a regular thread, is that you actually see the thread in the buttons. Like, it's not just thin. It's like I don't have to go 2-3 times in order to see it. I just go through it once, and it's big enough to see it. And it's going to last forever because, I mean, I've had it for 2 or 3 years, and I use it all the time, and I can't even tell that I've used it. Like, it's just still totally massive. So that's going to last forever. So now I took out that stamp, and it is from Studio Calico, and I think it's like an add-on for the Project Life. It's called Blinks of Life. And it had a bunch of little words that I really liked. And the first one says rate this day, and that's what I decided to do there instead of that brad. And then it's got 5 little stars, and you can rate the day. And then at the bottom there, it says in one word. And because of the button, I was having a hard time stamping it. But because it's clear, I was able to just ink the in one word and then stamp it again. And the one word is remember. And then at the top of the layout, it says, and it was epic. And then on the speech bubble, I just put love this a few times. And then with check this out, I put the little camera. And now I'm looking for my ink, Hero Arts ink butter bar. And I'm going to stamp, there's 2 little hearts there. And I'm going to stamp it a few spots. And my block is too big. It keeps, I never thought of it till after the buttons were in place. So it was getting hung up on the buttons. So I just went and got a smaller block so that I could stamp the little hearts without bumping into the button. So now I'm just washing all the stamps, and I'm putting them away right away because how easy it would be to lose all those little stamps because they're so little. So if you want to see some still pictures, you can go to 2Ps and Studio Calico in the members gallery and just look for Nicole Jones 911, and I upload all my pictures there. And at this point, I put my page in my Studio Calico box, and I took out a couple of glimmer glaze. I took out an orange and a yellow to kind of go with the page. And I inked it in 3 spots, and then I realized you didn't put your title. So I took out the thickers that we got in this month's kit, and I hadn't used them yet, so I figured I better use them. So the title of the page is just going to be Straight View. Because some of the other layouts that I did, I put view from the Empire State Building, view from this, view from that. So I just wanted to say that this one was just straight view. So I'm going to fuss around with those thickers for a bit because they're not sitting right. And the dot on the I is squished with the E. So I'm going to move down the word view, and then you can see the dot on the I. And now I'm going to show you some close-ups. And then I looked, and my battery still had quite a bit of life because it had died on the first part there, and I had to do it again. Not do it again, but wait for the battery to charge up and then use it up again. So I decided to do my journaling. And I rated the day, and I colored in the 5th star. I guess I should have colored in all stars, eh? So I'll go back and color in all stars, because now it looks like it's just 1 out of 5. So I'll go in and color in all stars. It's funny how when you put stuff away and you get a fresh view, because a lot of times I scrapbook late at night, so the brain isn't functioning that good. So when you see it again, you're like, oh no, this is what I meant to do. So here's a few close-ups. And that's it. The page is done. So thanks for watching. Bye.